All right, so for the last part of these examples, we've got a battery-powered car that does not move, but has a head start of 17 feet at the beginning of the race. So this one's kind of weird. It's not going to move, so say the battery died or something happened to the car, but we know it started 17 feet at the beginning. So we've got to look for the y-intercept, and up here we see we've got 0, 17, and then we also see that those y values are all 17, so that means that that car stays in that same spot every single time. So we know that that is the table that would go along with that. So then we've got to find the graph that starts at 0, 17, and that's actually going to be the graph that's right next to it. Here it starts at 17, and then it doesn't move. So the distance for that car does not change. It just stays 17 throughout the entire time. And then the last one, if we were to find the slope, this goes up 0 and then up 5. And if we take 0 divided by 5, 0 divided by anything is 0. So if we go to the equation, it's got a slope of 0. So if I go down to my equation down on the bottom and I do 0 times x plus my y-intercept, which was 17, well, we know 0 times anything is just 0. So that really gives me the equation y equals 17. We really haven't talked about horizontal lines, which is basically what that line that we just drew was. The equations of those are yet, but that is going to be what happens when the slope is 0. That x value just goes away. So over here, we've got the equation y equals 17. Okay, so then obviously common sense says we can figure out which ones go together at the end, but I still want to walk through it. So down at the last, it says a rubber band car travels at a rate of 1 1/4 feet per minute and had a head start of 5 feet at the beginning of the race. So if we take a look at that, 0, 5, that's going to be this table over here on the left. Okay, and again, no matter where we go, we've got to find 2 points. Again, I'm going to pick the whole numbers just because it's easier. So if I go all the way from 5 to 130, that's a change of 125. And then if I go from 0 all the way down to 100, that's over 100. If you think about money, 25 goes into both of those, or you can put it in your graphing calculator and hit math, enter, enter. Divide by 25, that gives me 5 over 4 is my slope. And if you're taking a look here at 1 1/4, 1 1/4, if we multiply, gives me 4 here, plus the 1 gives me 5/4. So we know that that has to be our table. Last but not least, we've got to find the graph, I guess, and then the equation. So there's 2 things we still have to do. And if we take a look at this graph over here, it starts at 5. And then if we were to find another point, say right here at 410, it goes up. Let's see, 5, 6. So that goes up 5 and then over 4. Because remember, it went from 5 to 10, which is up 5. And then over 2, over 2 squares, which is then 4. So we get a slope of 5/4. And then last but not least is going to that last equation, which is right here, which has a y-intercept of 5 and a slope of 5/4 or 1 1/4. Okay, so again, kind of looks a little messy, but realistically, you would have had those little slips of paper had we been in school and been able to slide them around and group them. And I'm sure your groups would have been able to do that.